of March, and gradually the year is coming to a close. Yes, and welcoming you to the weekend entertainment segment of the weekend show, where we discuss all-round entertainment. Today I have a guest with me in the studio, but we will be going on a very short break, and when we come back, our guest will be with us in the studio.
How can I say I love myself more than he does? How did I ever become what it is despite my flaws? Why did he choose not to lash back at the backlashes? Why did he clothe me with a garment of honor instead of ashes? I wonder how he ransomed me with his own soul, when all along I have denied him total control. He lost his feelings just to feel me, now his spirit fills me. I can't deny it, the magnitude of his glory thrills me. An understanding of his power is mind-blowing. The beauty of his majesty got kings jaw-dropping. This is more than the testimony of a fanatic. My gospel experience has turned me to his lunatic. So it's in order if you called me his duplication. After all, I always wanted to be his imitation. I know my king, so I go holy hands in the air. From on knowledge of him, I'm panting just like a dare. What doesn't kill Glofame, I swear to God, only makes him stronger. Why should I budge because of what I hear from rumor mongers? I know where I am from, and where I'm from is where I'm headed. Forward ever, backward never, till I'm beheaded. The Lord is my shepherd, trust me, I can't ask for more. I'm made rich in Christ Jesus, I can't be poor. Evil people keep on hating, envying my increase, but my attention is all he needs to put me at ease. Oh, to worship him freely without walls, Jesus. So when the world sees us, they will not just laugh and tease us. Oh, to worship him freely without walls, Jesus. So when the world sees us, they will not just laugh and tease us. What would you do?
That's quite an inspiration for a Saturday morning. Now, joining me in the studio is a gospel rapper. He's a content producer, a photographer, a cinematographer. He goes by the name Henry Glofame Okoli. Henry, thank you very much for joining me in the studio.
Thank you very much.
I love that clip from you.
Oh,
and it seems like you have your hands full. Yeah. Because you actually delved into content producing, photography, cinematography, even a gospel rapper, spoken word artist. Like, how do you even intend to keep up with all of that?
Well, I would say personally, I've always been somebody driven with the need to stay relevant part time in society. And I think every person's value in society will always be graded to what extent they stay valuable or relevant. So I think it's most of them on the list come natural to me, like being a spoken word poet, probably extended or watered down for me being a mass communication graduate. So.
Okay, so I just can't help but to wonder your background, how it all started. Like, let's know a bit about you and how you delved into all of this.
Yeah. Full name, you already have that,
Henry,
right? Henry
Glofame. Well, we'll get to Glofame much later. Yeah.
So I would say I'm one person you would want to use the word son of the soil on, because I am from Osumohu village in Ihiala local government area of Anambra State. So, but I was born and bred in Kaduna State the whole of my life, until, of course, I had to school, and then I moved down to Enugu, where I schooled in University of Nigeria and Nsukka. I graduated as from the mass communication department of that very varsity. Okay. And then since my graduation, I've had to practice different facets of the media. I have had to work with the Lion Press of the school, and I would say that gave me a good experience of what it is to be either a book publisher or an editor. And then from there, I delved into another outfit of the print, living word print media in Abia State, where I worked as a writer and also a proofreader. And then I also got to delve into photography while I was at that. And then pushing, more like a natural consequence of that, I got to become a cinematographer. I think at each point of these was the point of personal interest. I wanted to be more. So once I had the little opportunity of learning something more, I got to add the skill up.
So you wanting to learn more, what did you have to forgo to be all of this? Like, you are an on-air personality, and you work with Rema 93.3 FM. You are quite an inspiration to so many out there. Yeah. So I really want to know your drive so far.
Okay, one thing I know deliberately, or I'm very intentional about, is the fact that no matter what you call your dreams, no matter what you call your visions, there will always be the reality of work. So you have to be intentional about the work part. It's just like somebody saying they want to be very fit. When you go to the gym, you do not become fit on your first day. So you get to put the work on the first day, you get to put the work on the second day. After like a week or a month, your biceps begin to form. And then your arteries begin to shoot. I mean, your veins begin to shoot out.
So for how long have you been forming these biceps now?
Yeah,
I understand.
Okay,
but then for how long have you been in this industry?
Yeah, officially, I would say back when I was in school, I got to join this students' record label called 418 Music. So I had persons who were either rappers or writers. And then, as much as I recall, I think I was the only spoken word poet. Okay, 3 of us were spoken word poets. So we got to put out 1, 2, 3, 4 mixtapes. So on that mixtape, you either have one person having a single, or you have 2 people doing a song together, or we had what they call a cipher on that mixtape. So as much as I recall, that has been since way back 2013.
And your challenges so far, having to have been the pioneering act in Nsukka for spoken words.
For spoken word poetry.
How was it having to start up?
It's almost no different from what it is having to put up in anything that has to do with entertainment, because production of any content costs you. And for somebody who was coming up, of course that was going to be a challenge, especially being a student in the university. You have handouts to buy, you have assignments to do, you have projects. So you are now having to place priority on what you do as a passion and what you came for as academics. You understand? So I would say the challenge from coming from way back in school was having to pay for the production of content. But be it as it may, for like say for my foray into the whole practice, I had to make friends, or like say I got to make friends who were producers, who were directors, who were just people who had passion for creation of content.
So we're later going to go to the wide acceptance of spoken words, and we want to know how it has been, if it's widely accepted and recognized in Nigeria. But then I want to know the inspiration. What gives you inspiration when you write?
When I write from a deep-seated awareness of need. I don't want to write because I want to be creative. I am already that. But I want to write because there is a need to address a problem. There is a need, like my foremost poem was one I wrote because of 3 friends. 3 friends who had issues. 3 friends who felt like they're not beautiful. 3 friends who people have told, or like say society, have been abused, they've been assaulted, and so they had this psychological like say disorderliness, or the struggle to accept themselves for who they are. So I wrote it and I called it Beautiful Clays. And I was addressing the need that you are beautiful because the Bible and God has already affirmed that this is what you are. You were created in His image, and then you have to accept it. God's reality should be yours. So you don't necessarily have to wait for people's acceptance before you say, okay, yeah, I'm beautiful. So I was writing from a need. And every other one that has come from that very point has been addressing one problem or the other.
Okay, so you're a gospel rapper and a spoken words artist, and obviously you talk about gospel most of the time, the Bible and the rest of it. Seeing that the Nigerian entertainment industry is evolving, like it's evolving day by day, how do you see the gospel music being accepted in Nigeria? Do you think it has a place to stay in the country? Obviously.
One thing I know is no matter how credible your content is, no matter how credible your practice is, your art is, it will never come to the point where it gets the patronage of everybody. It's just like as in advertising. When you advertise, no matter how good your product is, it gets to win the heart of people who have a need for it or people who have interest in it. That applies to gospel too. Gospel may never come to the point where everybody gets to listen to it, but it will always be one day at a time. So I don't think any artist who puts out gospel content has the right to complain that their art is not being accepted. The proliferation of every art is going to be based on the credibility or the quality that its practitioner puts into it. So you can't be putting out whack stuff and expect people to like it.
So let's go to the origination of Glofame. I want to know the brain behind that name. Glofame sounds like you work with a telecom company.
No way.
Yeah, and I was like wondering, Glofame, how does it even rhyme at all? Like, please tell me.
Okay, yes. I think the name is something, or like say, it's a word that doesn't immediately gives you an idea what it means. So it always begs for me to explain. And I'm tired of explaining. So maybe this is one very good opportunity to
explain.
To get this over and done with. So Glofame comes from, I was addressing the secular impression that artists have of putting out music for the fame. So but I was addressing it from the biblical point of view. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and every other thing will be added unto you.
True.
So it's more like seeking to do everything that gives God glory, and then the fame will come as a natural consequence. It's just like going to the market and you want to buy a phone. You go there and you say, I want to buy a phone. But when they bring the phone, you see a charger, you see an earpiece, you see a jacket, you see a screen guard, and sometimes you see a memory card.
All the baggage.
But what you asked for when you came in was, I need a phone.
Yeah.
But every other thing came as a consequence of it being accessories of the phone. But when you walk into the same store and say you want to buy a charger, what you get is just a charger. So if people would seek to do what pleases God and gives him glory, the fame will come as a natural consequence, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
So it's more like a default thing. If you do what pleases God, it's just a natural consequence that people get to know you, because you just get to travel, you get to meet people, you get people who want to they have goodwill for you. That's how I can explain.
So glory comes with fame.
Yeah, put the glory first and the fame will come as a natural consequence.
Where do you see yourself in the next 10 to 5 years? What do you hope to achieve with this, all of this, music, spoken words? Where do you see yourself?
Right. I've always been driven with the passion of, like I said, one of the greatest faith I have is the faith or the confidence of doing life differently. So in doing that, I want it to be that I chart the course for young people to seek or pursue or believe in themselves to live life differently. So 5-10 years from now, I want it to be that people can look up to my journey and believe in whatever little abilities they have. If only they can choose to be more deliberate or intentional about making their dreams come true. And I think it's true how it's been said. I can't quote who, but I think our deepest fear is that we are too powerful.
Wow. Our deepest fear is that we are too powerful. Now, one last word for anybody looking up to you, people who want to be like you. What do you have to say to them?
I wouldn't say it's any different from everything that I've been saying since we started talking. So I think it's me going to highlight the need for people to one day at a time respect the fact that you have too much, you've been equipped with too much to disappoint yourself. So it's more about self-belief. I think you will still not do anything, even if 1,000 people say they believe in you, but you are way down believing in yourself. True. So if 1,000 people come here and give you a sermon about self-belief and positive mentality, and you still don't see yourself as amounting to anything, you are still stuck there.
True,
so it's more about knowing you can do this, seeing that you can do it, and making little steps one day at a time at achieving what you want to do.
Okay, so this is where I ask if you can do a freestyle for us, because I really love to watch your clips on Instagram, and of course we just played one, and we're going to play one again before we go, but then we'd like to have at least something fresh from you.
Okay, I will be glad. I think I want to seize this opportunity to do my foremost poem, the very first one I put out for my 3 friends.
Okay.
So I titled it Beautiful Clays. So I'm hoping this goes out to anybody watching, that you are way more than people have said that you are. She's been standing right there in front of the mirror, tilting her body left and right, panning her head up and down in a seeming attempt to decipher the crumbs of her rubbled significance. Brutal. Her friends had called her an article of no Christmas value and a grocery in antiquity. Now here she stood, this time in tears, for one more but final evaluation. And as though she was not in agreement with what the mirror was showing to her, she asked asked again. Then in one swooping moment of psychological and mental defeat, the words come, I am not beautiful. See, I am not disturbed by the negative criticisms that people throw at you, but it is these forms of self-orchestrated stigmatizations that 4 people are against, God and myself. It is on the basis as these that some people's thinking need to be done for them. I mean, this disposition is coming from the depth of an understanding that right from the belly of your mother, God knew you. In fact, He literally formed you, egg to the first false alarm when you cried at childbirth. And when he saw you, he tapped the word and said, have you seen my boy? Hold on. Have you seen my girl? See, that's the apple of my eyes. So you may want to tell me, for how long will you continue to base the bounty of your self-worth and esteem on the transcendent and inconsequential remarks that people who were not even shareholders of God's reality for you were making? They say that you were too dark. Well, people like me are very fast to remind them that God has pulled me out of darkness into his marvelous, glowing and illuminating light, that they will need a sunshade to comprehend the beautification long crested in your DNA. Trust me, some of them are not going to be happy that you don't feel bad because of their cursings. Some of them will call you arrogant and some will walk away. But how about we call it shedding skin time? Because I know that the Bible does not encourage us to be proud. But my own translation of the Sweet Jesus Bible tells me that I can boast in my weakness. Know ye not that your bodies are the temple of the Holy Spirit? So you be careful next time when you were trash talking someone else's abode, because he paid for everything in your body. He took thorns for your tongue. He took lashes for your eyelashes. He was bruised and pierced for your eyebrows and ear piercings. And when he rose, see, that was the best flower he could find to make his proposal sublime. So the next time somebody basking in the misplaced understanding of the true essentials of divine beauty walks up to you to say that you are not beautiful, please pray for them, hug them, cry if you were that philanthropic, because it is with these ones that we know how difficult life can be for the blind. True. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wow, I was in the spirit. At this point, we're going to take another very clip from Henry Glofame, and then when we come back, we'll be wrapping up the segment. Do stay with us.
Have you ever supposed that the amount of money you give into charity and the hours you spend out in church are going to be the conditions that qualify you for righteous? Have you ever thought of the possibility that all those could actually just be your responsibilities as a Christian, that if not placed right, could just be religious activity for spiritual diplomacy? Now, good luck with that, because in related news, I found out that all those are actually empty nothings if loving Jesus and making his will supreme is not part of your religion. Now, listen keenly and understand me before you critique, because this is one of the truths that makes our faith's unique: grace. God's riches at Christ's expense. Now, let me say it the way it hits crazy people like me. You see, the gospel of grace is a reality we step into through faith in the started and finished work of Christ on the cross, and not through our self-righteousness, because even our good works are just a glowing extension of our selfishness. Our goodness have always been blighted by sentiments and anticipation for reciprocation. That is why the very minute we begin to think that our goodness is the only reason why we merit God's goodness and mercies, that minute we have stepped into sin. We are wandering in religion, and we are no different from the same Pharisees that had made a standard of their foolishness. You see, Christianity is not a survival of the fittest, and even if it is a test of our strength and fitness, then I wonder how God's power has always been made perfect in our weakness. So you are not first Christian because of the Superman attitude that you were putting up. Even that does not make you the original Carl Kent, but with the consciousness of the ever-dwelling presence of God, you can do all things that Carl can't. I mean, even Google still goes to school to understand the fullness and full length of God's grace. That is why I understand all of the questions that he cannot answer. I mean, how can I say I love myself more than he does? How did I ever become worthy despite my flaws? Why did he choose not to lash back at the backlashes? Why did he clothe me with the garment of honor instead of ashes? I wonder how he ransomed me with his own soul, when all along I have denied him total control. He lost his feelings just to feel me, now his spirit feels me. I can't deny it, the magnitude of his glory thrills me. An understanding of his power is mind-blowing. The beauty of his majesty has got kings jaw-dropping. This is more than the testimony of a fanatic. My gospel experience has turned me to his lunatic. So it's in order if you called me his duplication. After all, I always wanted to be his imitation. I know my king, so I go holy hands in the air. For more knowledge of him, I'm panting just like a dare. What doesn't kill Glofame? I swear to God, only makes him stronger. Why should I budge because of what I hear from rumor mongers? I know where I'm from, and where I'm from is where I'm headed. Forward ever, backward never, till I'm beheaded. The Lord is my shepherd, trust me, I can't ask for more. I'm made rich in Christ Jesus, I can't be poor. Evil people keep on hating and being my increase, but my attention is all he needs to put me at ease. Oh, to worship you freely without walls, Jesus. So when the world sees us, they will not just laugh and tease us. Now, don't get it twisted. This is not a coordinated attempt to nullify the relevance of your Christian works. In fact, keep it up because this world needs it to survive. But watch it lest it gets to the extreme when you begin to think that as fruits of your faith, that your works can become independent of your roots in grace. So yeah, I know I've spoken for too long and I'm becoming too loud, so permit me to close up with this fresh breath, knowing too well that these words spoken are not like swords broken, but they are spirit and they are life, capable of making every yielded heart do what it says to do. So it's alright if you say I suck at summary, because after all, look how long it took me to say that life without grace is trash.
And with that, I wrap up the weekend entertainment segment of the weekend show. Now stay tuned, because Oluchi, Dave and I will be bringing up to you the social media trends. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.